Right now in the politics of Mexico, they're trying to run a globalist Jewish mayor who has had failure here in Mexico City. They're not giving them choices. The election clearly is rigged, and you can see it because they're trying to pretend she's popular, but there's no one that I know in Mexico who likes her. Because she's a rich politician who went to school in the United States and is taking those lessons from the liberals in the United States to not benefit Mexicans. And this applies on both sides of the Rio. Sadly, that is Mexico today in leadership of the Liberal Party. That doesn't mean that the Conservative Party is any better. I'm just describing who's in power today and what will happen if they continue in this direction. This video I'm going to show you is going to talk more in detail of what is happening in the underground in Mexico, but now is finally being seen in the. What can you do when a political class has left out the poor of a country? In the United States, this is happening for a very long time. Very subtly, people believed in the great dream that I call Disneyland, that you could actually aspire and work hard to be successful. When I was young, my brother, rather intelligent guy, he actually spoke in front of President Nixon when he was in 8th grade in the graduating class as a poor Mexican in the United States. What he spoke about is that there's no opportunities for Mexicans. He shocked Nixon. He shocked him because he was talking about the facts that he understood that as a young man, 12 years, 13 years old, that there were no opportunities for him because he was poor. Now, does that mean the conservatives are providing more opportunities? Hell no. It's no different. It's the rich, poor, the rich, the poor, the rich, the poor, and who are forgotten. But that's the liberal ideas of the globalists, where they take things and they make it for themselves and they leave you with nothing, or just the scraps. Meanwhile, they have the luxuries of everything that are what we used to have for free. What we used to have is part of culture. Yes, in this bazaar of foods from Puebla, they actually do have some original food of Mexico. But the problem with this is that the foods of Mexico, these foods are the low item poles on the totem pole. What that means is these are low-cost food solutions that also are low-cost in generating revenue for the vendors. But it's a perfect solution for the globalists in Mexico who have stolen and put in their pocket the riches of the culture of Mexico for their benefit. Yes, we still have our music. Yes, we still have our culture. Not really, because those instruments were made in China. As we look at the culture of Mexico, we find that what used to be is no longer. The liberals of Mexico have turned this into a consumer market where the consumers, poor Mexicans, can't even afford most of the things that are being sold. For example, the poor Mexicans, the major Mexicans in Mexico, have thousands of units that the liberals of Mexico have brought of apartments that guess who can't afford it? Mexicans. So they're feeling the middle class with international folks and taking away from the people who live in the Puebla, from the people who are poor who live in Mexico and only can buy consumer goods that are made in China. Sure, the government owns this. Chinese goods sold in Mexico. Mexican textiles and cultural items made in India and in China, but not in Puebla. Sadly, I'm a years enough old that I remember all the textiles you see here in this exhibit here from Puebla used to be made in Puebla. But now most of these things are made in China or India. I was really fascinated when I saw these items and I thought they were made here still, but they're not. They're made in India. Even the sarapes that we wear here, these are made in India. So the culture of Mexico has been deteriorated by the liberals of Mexico. The Liberal Party who's taken everything and made Mexico and Mexicans not into a power of making things, but have turned them into a consumer. And that is the liberal way and how liberals run things. They take what's great, they deteriorate it, they get another manufacturer that they own maybe in another country with lower wages, and they ship it around as an economic distribution masterpiece. Yes, you're right. It is economically masterful, but it also takes away the culture of the country, and in this case, took away Mexico from being a manufacturer. Sadly, even the cars that are assembled in Mexico are assembled in Mexico.
Socialist chaos brought to our community. Last night when I watched the Fulton County DA smirk while she indicted former President Donald Trump along 18 others on RICO charges like they are part of the Sopranos, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty pissed. And then I read all 96 pages of the indictments. There is nothing in there to get anyone. The DA specifically said that the overt acts listed are not illegal on their own, but because there are enough of them, they can be charged as a criminal enterprise. What do these overt acts include? Questioning the outcome of the 2020 election, for making false statements about the integrity of the election in other states, for asking for email addresses of public officials and sending emails, for hiring forensic data teams to review election results, for requesting hearings to challenge the results, for unnamed people sending emails, and most importantly, mean tweets. This trial goes nowhere, and they know it. So why all the drama? And why was I so upset? It's not because of the charges. The charges are bullshit. It's because I could see their plan, and I could feel it working. You gotta see the big picture. The play is always geopolitics, always control. The globalist socialist establishment has already conquered LA, San Francisco, Seattle, and Chicago. Where are the Trump indictments? They're trying to take New York, Virginia, Miami, and now Atlanta. Notice they are not indicting him in areas they've already won. It's a squeeze play. Can you see the map? The point of these indictments is not to prevent Trump from running for president. Of all the indictments and charges, none of them can prevent him from running. It's not even about preventing him from winning. They see that the poll numbers jump every time an indictment is announced. If they truly believe that Trump was plotting to overthrow the US government, they would focus all of their energy, resources, and personnel on one case and try to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. You don't indict in multiple states with multiple charges with multiple teams of lawyers. You don't spray and pray. The sole point of the indictments is to divide this country, to keep us occupied fighting each other. Republican versus Democrat, man versus woman, black versus white versus brown versus yellow, poor versus less poor. Don't get distracted. It's not us versus each other. It's us versus them. They're not trying to save democracy. They're trying to crush it. If you're watching from Georgia, if you are my neighbor, beware. Look at what they've done in other cities, other states. Homelessness, drugs, and violence. Burning it all down so they can build it back up and gain control. The talking head propagandists will surely plaster the news cycle. This time, we got him. What they really mean is, this time, we got you. Trump has been indicted in Georgia. For the last 14 years, I've called Georgia